सैंक्टिटी और करप्शन के साथ कभी भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ में मूड में रही हैं, इसलिए इसको कैंसिल किया गया।
Government on back foot in NEET blaze, the top focus on 5 Live.
What's going to happen with the NEET exam? It's become white hot at this moment. The government is on the back foot. The students are on the streets. The politics has gone nuclear. What will the fate of the NEET 2024 exam be? I'm Shiv. Thanks so much for being with me. Here are the headlines. Well, amidst the NEET heat, national eligibility test on NET has been scrapped last night. CBI to probe the UGC-NET. Sources say online forums discussion on exam paper led to cancellation by the government. Education Ministry assures action. Double whammy for Karnataka residents after petrol and diesel. Bengaluru likely to see hike in water tariff. BJP stages big cycle protest against hikes. 38 people dead in Hooch tragedy in Tamil Nadu's Kalakurchi. Chief Minister Stalin orders CBCID probe, suspends top officials, even as opposition lash out at the state government. Inside scoop on Modi 3.0 budget plan that comes in July. Sources say government is mulling lower income tax for the 15 to 17 lakh rupee slab. Modi meets US delegation. US sends clear message to China after Pelosi meets with the Dalai Lama in Dharamshala. Right from the beginning of India Today's agenda-setting coverage on the NEET 2024 exam, we told you that the stench of malpractice was there and couldn't be ignored, it couldn't be denied. Whether or not a paper leak was part of this stench was not clear, but now it is completely clear. We can confirm that a paper leak has in fact happened. Let me take you through the anatomy of this paper leak. The accused in the Bihar NEET paper leak racket have confessed to their crime. India Today has accessed 7 confessionals that have revealed the anatomy of this entire paper leak. Remember, the NEET exam is pan-India, 24 lakh students. What we're talking about is one small part of it in Bihar. Sikandar Prasad is a junior engineer in Danapur. He is believed to be the mastermind in this NEET leak. Sikandar Prasad got access to the NEET question paper in advance. We don't know how he did it though. That's under investigation. 4 NEET aspirants, all students, were called to Patna. A room was booked in a guest house in Patna. Patna, as you know,
Decathlon, 60 plus sports, 6,000 plus products. Decathlon. Visit the store or download the app.
Breathe in. Let's take our time with this feeling.
रोब काफी सूट कर रहा है आपको।
आखिर पहना किसने?
My Trident, where luxury finds home.
And now politics. A sensational Mantri Ji connect has emerged in the ongoing NEET paper leak row in Bihar. So who is the Mantri Ji? In a massive political twist to the investigation, an RGD link has emerged to the whole NEET paper leak controversy. BJP dropped a massive bombshell claiming that RGD leader Tejashwi Yadav has links with the paper leak mastermind Sikandar Yadav.
तेजस्वी यादव के आप सचिव प्रीतम कुमार के मोबाइल नंबर रात्रि 9:07 मैं पथ निर्माण विभाग में कार्यरत NHI गेस्ट हाउस में सिकंदर कुमार जादवेंदु के लिए कमरे की बुकिंग कराने के लिए फोन आया था।
According to the BJP, it was Tejashwi's PA who got a government employee to book the state government's guest house for Kingpin Sikandar's meeting with students. The room was booked in the name of Mantri ji.
प्रीतम जी ने हमको फ़ोन किया था जो सिकंदर कुमार के नाम से कमरा बुक कराने के लिए। फिर 1 तारीख को रात में फिर उन्होंने दोबारा 4 को कहा था। हमने कहा था रिक्वेशन के लिए, तो उन्होंने कहा रिक्वेशन उनके द्वारा दे दिया जाएगा। तो हमने अकॉर्डिंगली मैसेज वहाँ के कनीक विंदा कर दिया, उनको फ़ोन पर बता दिया।
While Tejashwi is yet to comment on these serious charges, his party has outrightly denied having any link to the paper leak accused.
एनडीए की सरकार, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार हमेशा से माफियाओं को संरक्षण देने का काम करती है और जिस प्रकार से माननीय तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव के पीए का नाम लिया जा रहा है, हम समझ रहे हैं पॉलिटिकल रूप से उनको फंसाने की एक साजिश की जा रही है। ये तो जांच का विषय है, जांच होनी चाहिए।
So who is this mastermind Sikandar Yadav, who is linked now to Tejashwi? It was an arrested NEET candidate Anurag Yadav's confession and the mention of a Mantri ji which opened a Pandora's box in the paper leak scam. The NEET student confessed that the leaked question paper given to him matched the actual exam paper. His confession letter, which India Today accessed, says clearly that the paper was given to him along with the answers. And who gave him the questions hours before the exam? His uncle and now the mastermind of this scam, Sikandar Yadav. With this massive political twist, the NEET mystery has become murkier. And the opposition is demanding answers from the government, with Rahul Gandhi leading the fight.
This is extremely damaging to students, and it's happening because all our institutions have been captured. Our vice chancellors are placed not based on merit, but because they belong to a particular organization. And this organization and the BJP have penetrated our education system and destroyed it.
As politics rages on, questions loom on whether the murky paper leak trail will be unraveled. With Aditya Vaibhav, Bureau Report, India Today.
And there has been a visible escalation in the protests today as well. Students are protesting in different parts of the country, student political groups as well. The Youth Congress, the left-wing students' union staged a stir on the streets of the national capital and called NEET the biggest education scam in the history of India. Similar scenes were seen in Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, the capital of Uttar Pradesh, where students were seen staging protests over the cancellation of the UGC-NET exam, which has now led to questions over whether integrity being compromised in the UGC-NET exam, forcing the Education Ministry to pull the plug and cancel that exam. Does that not also apply to NEET? Is there going to be some kind of partial re-NEET or a complete re-NEET? What about students who don't want a re-exam because they've worked so hard? Will there be a surgical action or will there be a blanket action? We don't know just yet. But after last night's cancellation of the UGC-NET, the fate of NEET hangs in the balance. Take a look.
Thousands of NET aspirants hoping to apply for the post of assistant professors in universities and colleges are outraged. Their anger spilling onto the streets. The reason? Scrapping of the national eligibility test within 24 hours of the exam being conducted.
19 जून को यूजीसी को मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर के इंडियन साइबर क्राइम सेंटर कोऑर्डिनेशन सेंटर I4C से कुछ इनपुट मिले। उस इनपुट को प्राइमा फेसी देखने से मिनिस्ट्री को ये अपीयर हुआ कि देयर इज अ चांसेस दैट एग्जामिनेशन हैज बीन कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड। टू टेकिंग अ वेरी प्रॉम्प्ट एक्शन एंड विथ अ एम टू इंश्योर स्टूडेंट इंटरेस्ट, द मिनिस्ट्री हैज डिसाइडेड टू कैंसिल द एग्जामिनेशन.
The Education Ministry says that it received inputs about the integrity of the exam being compromised and has ordered a CBI probe.
कुछ ऑब्जेक्शंस आए हैं और ये ऐसे एग्जाम्स है जिसमें सैंक्टिटी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है, तो हमारी सरकार सैंक्टिटी और करप्शन के साथ कभी भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज में मूड में रही है। इसलिए जो सवाल उठे हैं, इसलिए परीक्षा के सिस्टम के ऊपर सबका विश्वास रहे, इसलिए इसको कैंसिल किया गया।
The question then is, if NET exam was cancelled within 24 hours of doubts being raised, why hasn't the NEET 2024 exam been cancelled? The NEET paper leak charge is proving to be true, with a big racket being busted in Bihar. All the accused in the case have confessed that the NEET question paper was the same as they were made to prepare the night before. The big exam mess has triggered a political war. The opposition has declared an examination emergency.
जो हिंदुस्तान के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, मैं जानता हूं कि आप इन एग्जाम्स के लिए महीनों सालों काम करते हो। ये आपका फ्यूचर है और आपके फ्यूचर से खिलवाड़ किया जा रहा है। जो हिंदुस्तान में पेपर लीक हो रहे हैं, उसको नरेंद्र मोदी रोक नहीं पा रहे हैं या रोकना नहीं चाहते हैं। दिस इज एक्सट्रीमली डैमेजिंग टू स्टूडेंट्स एंड इट्स हैपनिंग बिकॉज ऑल आवर इंस्टीट्यूशंस have been captured. Our vice chancellors are placed not based on merit, but because they belong to a particular organization. And this organization and the BJP have penetrated our education system and destroyed it.
अब बताइए ना, कितना बड़ा घोटाला है ये। 67 बच्चे 720 अंक पाके टॉप कर जा रहे हैं। एक ही सेंटर से 6 बच्चे टॉप कर जा रहे हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने इस देश को पेपर लीक देश बना दिया है। नौजवानों की जिंदगी को बर्बाद कर रहे हैं। युवा मांगेंगे भीख, भाजपा के राज में होगा पेपर लीक।
लाखों युवाओं का जो भविष्य है, जो संकट में है, चाहे नीट हो, चाहे नेट हो, चाहे और हो, सिर्फ रेडियो पे परीक्षा पे चर्चा करने से युवाओं का भविष्य ठीक नहीं रहेगा।
There's anger and there's outrage. But the big question is, does India's admission test system need a complete overhaul? Bureau Report, India Today.
The big questions we're asking in the latest issue of our coverage on the NEET issue. The big questions that we're asking today. Number one, after NET, after UGC-NET, is the government mulling some big action on NEET as well? So far that hasn't been taken. Is it coming up? Question number two, will the government choose some kind of surgical action as far as NEET is concerned, or will there be a blanket cancellation and a re-NEET, which is actually a nightmare scenario for many students? Number three, what about the majority students who don't want a re-NEET? Number four, can Tejasvi Yadav in Bihar remain silent on the alleged links to the paper leak that is being investigated in the state of Bihar? Remember, paper leaks were rumored to be part of the malpractices surrounding NEET, but now that appears to have been confirmed, at least in Bihar. Number five, will the CBI, which is going to investigate the integrity breakdown in the UGC-NET exam, will it also investigate what's going on in NEET? And number six, political grandstanding. Is political grandstanding hiding India's cross-party paper leak legacy? That's also a question we'll be bringing up today. But today, as we bring in our panel of experts, stakeholders, and students within NEET, remember that this issue has blown up. It's become big. And the political heat surrounding NEET means that there needs to be some action taken. The question is, what will that action be and when will the government take it? The only two questions that remain to be answered. Joining us live, very happy to be joined by Maheshwar Perry, founder and chairman of Careers 360. He's been one of the most consistent voices on the issue of competitive examinations, particularly on NEET. He's made several videos that are watched by millions of people across the country, including students. Shiv Aroor is a best-selling author and educationalist. Zubin Malhotra is career coach and counselor at Career Guidance India. Shwetang Sailakwal is petitioner in the NEET case. Nandini Saini is a NEET aspirant. Shan Mohammed is a NEET aspirant. Arushi Singh is a NEET aspirant. Welcome to all of you. Very happy to have all of you on a day when this story has in some ways gone to the next level. Mr. Perry, I'd like to come to you first. Yesterday there was a big development, the UGC-NET exam getting cancelled by the Education Ministry. They say that, integrity was compromised, etc. What action are you taking? What action are you expecting, Mr. Perry, as far as NEET is concerned? Because now you've got a confirmation that a paper leak incident has taken place in Bihar. There's an investigation going on there. There is all this political noise as well. And it seems like the ball is now directly in the government's court. What action are you expecting or recommending, sir?
So I think the paper leak has not just happened in Bihar. Bihar is one of the places where you actually have confirmed through all those things. But even Godhra, there is a lot of confirmation that there is a paper leak that happened. And in Jajjar, you actually have a case where 6 students got a top rank, and it's up for investigation. The most important thing here, Shiv, is that NTA is not being transparent and open about everything that's happened within that. In this particular case also, it is not NTA which said anything. It is the cybercrime or something that, that actually found a issue, and the Ministry of Education did this. It's not NTA that went about doing it, right? So the important thing here is what is the action that we do with as vis-a-vis NTA, because NTA is not being transparent, it's not being open, it's not coming up. Like, for example, even today when we say that there is something that happened because of which the integrity of the examination has been compromised, that something should be explained and see whether it actually applies to NEET also. Correct. Because a similar compromise might have happened in NEET and NTA is not forthcoming with information, right? So to couch it in difficult words, but not saying something while saying that integrity has been compromised is a very serious charge in that sense, right? And you might actually, have exactly the same thing happening in NEET also. So for me, this is not NTA acting; it's Ministry of Education acting based on something that came to them, which is so compelling that they couldn't have avoided that or turned a blind eye to that. Right. In the case of NEET, because NTA is still holding ours and it is a pen and paper examination, the cyber cell and all those things don't come in.
Yes.
Right. If it is an online examination, the cyber cell and those kind of things come in. The cybercrime people come in.
Yes.
So in this particular case, also something large has happened because I can only see the scores and the rank inflation, and that very clearly suggests that what has come out as an outcome is very improbable, and we don't know the process based on which that outcome has come.
Taking forward from that point, Mr. Perry, like you said, the whatever integrity breakdown there was, which was detected in the UGC-NET, must have been so compelling that they decided to scrap the whole thing. And in the last few days that we've been tracking NEET, and you've been also on our show, like you just said, apart from Bihar, Godhra, Jajjar, and who knows where else. It seems that there is compelling evidence that this is not a bulletproof exam. Shouldn't that itself be enough to make some changes?
For sure, Shiv. The thing is, if you look at medical education,
yes,
a lot of people make this mistake of saying that 24 lakh students and 1 lakh seats. No, that's not how it works. Of the 24 lakh 1 lakh seats, now about 50,000 are beyond the affordability quotient or access of many people in India. Because the fee is 1 crore, 1.5 crore and all those kind of things, right? So basically what we're looking at is 24 lakh people competing for 50,000 seats across categories.
Yeah.
Right. So once you come up to that, and the gap between a public education which is about 5 lakh rupees to private education, which is 1 crore, the 95 lakh range that you create in between is what creates this huge, corruption thing, because instead of paying 95 lakh as fee, I pay 40-50 lakh to a tout who gives me a paper and I get a government seat. So the gap in fee structures also creates this massive thing. You have a demand supply gap and you also have a fee affordability gap of 1:20.
Very, very interesting. I'm going to broaden this and I want to all of my guests to stay with me. And I want to, before I get in the other experts, I want to hear from the students. And we have 3 NEET aspirants on our show today before I go to the others. I'd like to start with you, Arushi. I want to ask very specific questions now because it's been nearly a month since we've been covering this story. So I want to get as precise and as, specific as possible. Arushi, what action do you want to see taken at this point of time? The government is very likely to take some kind of action because the pressure is built up in a very big way. As a NEET aspirant, someone who has taken this exam, what action are you expecting? What action do you want?
As a student who has scored fine in the NEET exam, I feel like even though I understand the rank inflation was very high this time, the re-NEET is not a very good option from a lot of from any student's point of view, because I feel like you have worked hard for the past 2 years and working hard again will not be possible. Like it's not very possible by every student. Even those who want re-NEET are not saying that how much it would affect them mentally in the long run. It's already very late. I feel like they should punish the people who took part in paper leak, because that is wrong.
Yes.
But then a NEET for everyone is very traumatizing.
Nandini, do you agree with that? That, a re-NEET in totality is a bad idea? Those who have, affected the NEET exam, they should be punished. Investigation should happen. But a re-NEET overall is a bad idea. Where do you stand? What do you want, Nandini?
So I would say that a re-NEET for all is the only ultimate solution. The reason being, even though some people have been caught, not the entire people, not all those people who were in the scam have been caught. See, the thing about Sikandar sir, the thing that we are hearing today, it has been caught after, I believe, a month and a half, if we count from the date of the examination when it was held. So there are so many people involved, because not just about grace marks or paper leak in just one center of Patna, not only that can lead to such a hyper rank inflation that we are seeing today. I completely agree with the fact that holding a re-examination for all the candidates might not be a good idea, because we won't be at that level of preparation that we were during the examination. But the problem is re-evaluation of the entire result will take a lot of time, because there are so many loopholes here. And the only thing that can rectify it is re-NEET. I myself have scored 660 marks and I am getting a college in India. But the thing is, I'm not getting the college of my choice, not the college that I worked for. I did not get the rank that I should have deserved. I've gotten a rank far much worse. I should have gotten one in the range of 4,000 to 5,000, but I've gotten such a bad rank. And because of that, I would have to leave my hometown, and then the expenses for the hostel, the accommodation and everything, they would sum up to a really large amount. And I don't want to pay that. I worked really hard for my marks and I got those marks, but I did not get the rank. And I believe there are so many people left that need to be arrested, and they should be punished. Definitely they should be punished.
Okay.
But we too should get our desired rank. And if just those people getting arrested and
I understand, Nandini, what you're saying. You're basically saying that there is enough reason to believe that the entire result has been completely skewed by what has taken place. So you're prescribing a complete re-NEET. Shan, very quickly, where do you stand? Partial re-NEET, complete re-NEET? We'll come to NTA, etc. later. But as far as the exam is concerned, what do you think should happen, Shan?
According to me, sir, in my opinion, the re-NEET is not a very good choice. Just because of if the question paper has already been leaked, who is being guaranteed that the re-NEET question paper would not be leaked? The re-NEET question paper can be leaked again, and what would happen with the students who could have committed suicide after this NEET exam, and after we are not at the level of that preparation after 2 or 3 months, because we also, as a student, we also need some time and some wait for the next preparation.
So this is interesting. This is actually very interesting, because we've got one student, and this reflects the different views of NEET aspirants and candidates, where some say a complete re-NEET is the only solution, and some say a complete re-NEET will actually be a disaster. So we've got both those views from our students here. Let me go across now to Shwetang Salakwal, who's a petitioner in the NEET case. Shwetang ji, You've heard from the students. As a petitioner, what are you expecting? What are you expecting to see happen right now? I'm talking specifically about the exam this year.
See, this NEET, it's a matter of, it's a center of controversy from day one itself.
Yeah.
Like the points we have raised in our petition that they have reopened the registration for 2 days without there being any notification. Then exam was held. On the on the same day, there were reports of paper leak.
Yeah.
That has not been taken into consideration. On the next day, they issued a press release saying that there is no leakage at all. Now, as we are all aware that today we have seen what is going on and what has been come out during investigation, and it hardly takes 5 to 10 seconds in today's date to travel this question paper from one place to another place. So it must have been traveled all across the country. So what is the future of these students who have cleared the examination by unfair means? Tomorrow they are going to be the doctors. What we are going to expect from them? You know, this whole batch will be a matter of controversy, because after 5 years, when we'll ask them which batch you are from, the paper leak batch or not. So that tag will be there. To remove that tag, it's better for all of us to get this re-NEET conducted. This is what our prayer is before the Honorable Supreme Court. And we have also demanded the SIT to be formed in this case, so that, you know, a proper and fair investigation must be done.
Yeah. But there are lacks.
Under the observation of the Honorable Supreme Court.
What makes this issue so complicated, and I'll go back to Maheshwar Peri in just a moment for a clarification on that as well, is that there are also lacks of students like Arushi, who's on our show today, saying that, you know, a complete re-NEET is unthinkable. That's a nightmare scenario. So, you know, the NEET aspirant community is also, you know, necessarily divided about this, depending on where they actually stand. Zubin, quickly bringing you in as well. You're a career coach and a counselor. This is a traumatic time for NEET aspirants, because there is this heavy air of you know, pressure on the students. They don't know what decision is going to be taken by the Education Ministry, but the pressure means that there is going to be some decision. This is not going to be swept under the carpet. So we don't know what that decision just is. What do we do in the interim? What do students do in the interim, Zubin?
Absolutely. And time and again, when these things happen, it's the students who suffer the most.
Yeah.
You know, there's a build-up of preparation, of getting exam ready, match ready. They've done the exam. It's a month and a half or whatever after that. They've been out of touch with the books. Now the stress of, you know, whether my score is valid, not valid, is it going to be taken again? How much time am I going to have? So it's needless stress, pressure. Please also understand, students sometimes are not at their hometowns preparing for these exams. So they go back to where they go. So there is obviously a lot of logistical and emotional aspects to this. But most importantly, what my fear is that, you know, NTA is not just conducting the NEET and NET and the JEE main. It's nearly 24 exams. On the anvil is the CUET.
Yes.
Now, you know, in the heat of trying to, you know, quick fix and find the solution to this, which the government must, a complete overhaul and review of the NTA, its processes of how it conducts exam, how it maintains confidentiality, secrecy, checking. Yes. That is the need of the hour urgently.
Yeah,
because we're talking about, in a year, nearly 50 lakh students across different exams who are impacted by this. So,
you know, yesterday
that is done.
Zubin, the second point you were making about, you know, student trust is something that I take very seriously on this show. And just a couple of days ago, I don't know if you saw it, but I did a video piece where I basically listed every single competitive exam or eligibility test paper leak since 2000, since the turn of the millennium till now, all the paper leaks, and it was almost an 8-minute video. That's how long it took me to list the number of paper leaks and, you know, incidents of exam integrity being compromised. So it's incredible. I'm going to come back to the larger structural changes that are required from the NTA in just a moment. But I also want to bring in Shiv Khera in on this. Mr. Khera, you know, the larger issue of what needs to be done as far as these exams is concerned will come next. Right now, we're talking about NEET 2024 because you know, this can't be simply postponed. A decision needs to be taken now, and that will have a bearing on a larger decision that comes on NTA and exams in general. What do you think needs to happen right now, sir?
See, Shiv, whatever conclusion or decision comes out of this, anything, whether re-NEET should be done, should not be done, whatever you side, and there will be always controversies to that and a controversial. But whatever you do now, this is all damage control. I repeat one more time, damage has been done.
Yeah.
You cannot undo the damage.
I agree.
This is trying to minimize the damage. But I just heard a gentleman who said, in terms of there is affordability gap, there's a demand and supply gap. That is why people do such things out of greed and so on. I do not agree with that. This is not an affordability gap, nor is it a demand and supply gap. This is outright integrity and a character gap in our bureaucracy, in our political system. And this is not new. It has gone into our DNA everywhere. And you might say, I'm deviating from it. I'm not deviating from it. Look at the Porsche case. That judge who said, go write an essay. Look at the infiltrators that come in. 10 crore infiltrators have come into India by giving 2,000 rupees at the border. Now, there's no difference into the NEET exam. And leakage of paper has been there every year, either in Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh, or somewhere.
All over.
This is not new, sir. This is not new. But every time it happens once a year, at that time, it becomes an issue. We discuss a few times, you get a few people, talk about it, and then it dies out. But the politicians and the bureaucrats, they are corrupt, who are selling the country for money, ruining the fate of this nation. They are still sitting there, and they become bigger leaders.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody big has ever, paid the price for what happens in these paper leaks.
That's right.
Considering
and
the
even
number
now, you look at the parliamentarians, almost 50% of the parliament has criminal records. What the hell are we talking here?
Yeah, no, I agree with your larger point, Shiv Aroor. I'll come back to the larger point in just a moment. But since we're addressing the immediate issue, the luxury of zooming out from this issue and talking about restructuring the NTA or scrapping the NTA is one thing. But remember, there are lakhs of students waiting with bated breath, like Arushi, like Shan, like Nandini, about what decision is going to be taken now. Arey bhaiya, this year, what's going to happen? Because this is going to be your next generation of doctors, which is why... Yes, Mr. Khera, complete your point.
One, a short-term thing, and second, a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And the third thing is that we talked in terms of that there is a hearing in the Supreme Court on the 8th of July.
Correct.
Now, my question to you is, how can you postpone the future of 24 lakh people?
I agree.
No, let me finish. You see, they could open, the court could open in the middle of the night to protect a terrorist. Middle of the night, court was open to protect a terrorist, to prevent him from hanging. Why are we pushing this? Why can't we open the court middle of the night and close this matter there?
Sir, if you want to talk about judicial priorities, you will have no argument from me. We can debate that and talk about that for a whole week, and I will be completely on your side on that. But since we're talking about NEET right now, Mr. Perry, the trust deficit of students. Mr. Khera makes a good point when he says the damage is done. And the damage has been done for so long. There is no doubt that right now we are a much more evolved society, much more aware society. The media is stronger, social media is there, people like you are there to keep the spotlight on such issues, and that's the reason why there is a sense that action hopefully will be taken this time. But the sheer history of malfeasance and malpractice, in competitive exams still is quite dispiriting. We don't know yet if this is that pivotal moment where something will actually change, and the trust deficit for students has reached a kind of critical level right now, Mr. Perry.
So, Shiv, I'll talk about what the students were looking at in terms of re-NEET or not NEET.
Yeah.
I think the first thing we need to do at this point in time, and I'm just confining myself to the NTA and NEET at this point in time, and not about the emotional stuff that's been said just now. You need to, first of all, quantify the problem. And the quantification of the problem will happen through a proper audit where you actually see data digression.
Yeah.
The data degradation will maybe from class 12 score to something else at a larger number, not 1 or 2 students, but every student seems to have a degradation. Or a data degradation where in one particular center you have a lot of outstation students coming in. Or a data degradation center where in one center you actually have a lot of toppers, right? And that is a statistician working on it along with some forensic auditor and dealing with that.
Yes.
We have not even taken the first step and trying to quantify the amount of problem that we have, which only NTA can, because they are sitting on the data, not all of us.
Correct.
I don't, by the way, say it must be a re-NEET because it's very traumatic for students. 24 lakh students sitting on the examination all over again is a traumatic experience, right? But can you say that, okay, there seems to be a possibility that in these 300 centers there is a problem and you give an option for the student to either step in all over again or normalize yourself for the score, right? And there are ways of dealing with that. Like earlier also, Shiv, there were many examinations where some centers, some states, the exam was conducted all over again. And they were pulled back in through a normalization. In JEE, you have examination conducted over 8 slots over 4 days, morning and evening, 4 days, right? And you normalize the scores, right? You can make that option available for people. Re-NEET, I also don't subscribe to it, right? Because I understand what the children are saying, right? But having said that, the NTA has not even taken the first step of saying, how do we quantify the problem? How do we subject ourselves to an open investigation from outside? But is always keen on giving itself a clean chit.
Yeah.
You actually have the thief giving themselves a clean chit in this case because the alleged allegation is NTA itself is a problem, which on India Today channel, a former IMA president has come and said that, it was compromised, right?
Yes.
Earlier days, National Board of Examinations. If National Board of Examination could have been compromised, NTA can also be compromised.
Correct.
And someone from outside must start looking at the data and coming up with the whole thing and also quantifying the problem. That is the first step that you will take before you decide whether it's a re-NEET, whether it's a large-scale bungling, or whether it's confined to a certain set of people or certain set of centers and dealing with that. And that is the first step.
It's such a critical point that you make, Mr. Perry, because in fact, even for this immediate decision that we are expecting right now, what Arushi, what Nandini, Shan and lakhs of other students are waiting on, that quantification is critical. Because without that quantification, how will they even take a decision on, what level of re-NEET will happen, whether it's going to be, a complete or a partial kind of re-NEET. Nandini, we don't know what decision the government is going to take right now, but how are you dealing with this suspense? I want our viewers also to hear, Maheshwar speaks with students on a daily basis. He counsels students as well. I want our viewers to hear directly from the students. How are you dealing with the anxiety of what is going to happen? Because NEET is a difficult exam. It takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of, time and effort and energy, family stress as well. How are you dealing with this suspense? I want to know from all of you. Nandini, you first.
So the only thing that I can do is study right now, and that is what I'm doing, because as a student, that has always been my job, to study well and study hard so that I can get a good rank. And that is what I've been doing, because I don't know whether the exam will be conducted or not. So I can't keep myself just sitting at home watching all these news channels and worrying that is this going to happen or is this not going to happen. And agreed, it is going to be a nightmare for all the students, but not just for us, right? It is going to be a nightmare for all the 24 lakh students. So we are all sailing in the same boat. If I have to give the exam, if the exam is going to be tough for me, it is going to be tough for the others as well. That is the approach that I'm taking, that no matter what happens, I have to stay prepared, because anything can happen. And if re-NEET is the ultimate solution, because even if we go through this re-evaluation thing, it is going to take months, and our journey of MBBS, it is going to keep postponing. It was supposed to be in September, then November, then October, and God knows we might have to give NEET 2025, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just staying still and preparing myself for all the examination. I have gotten the marks earlier as well. If I prepare myself, if I boost myself, then maybe I might be able to achieve the same score or more or less. But if the paper is difficult, it will be difficult for all.
Arushi, are you also studying?
Yes, sir. Definitely. I'm studying. I'm giving some tests. Right now I've completed a
Nandini,
bit.
I'm one second. Sorry. Just hold on to that thought. I'm asking Arushi. Arushi, are you also like Nandini? Are you also studying? Because you don't know yet what's going to happen, whether there will be a re-NEET or not. Are you also studying just to be safe?
No, I haven't started studying because there's so much anxiety around this entire, will it be or will it not be, or do I have to not have to. The entire issue itself is making a lot of stress in the home, outside of home. It's like you can't really breathe through the entire process. And yeah, I haven't really started studying it, and I don't think a lot of people have started studying it.
Shan, what are you doing? Are you studying? I'm
15% इंक्रीमेंट बढ़िया तो है. पैसे के पीछे मत भाग. स्लो एंड स्टेडी विंस द रेस. तुझे कछुआ बनना है या खरगोश?
They won't get it. We do. Naukri for the ambitious.
बिरयानी 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 बिरयानी.
अगर इनकी और मेरी तरह आप भी हैं बिरयानी लवर, तो आज ही शुरू करें तैयारी टू सेलिब्रेट दावत वर्ल्ड बिरयानी डे 7/7 on July 7.
Not able to suffer from all these scams and very much anxiety and depression.
This is painful to hear. I mean, this kind of anxiety for students who are going to be our next generation of doctors is genuinely and objectively frightening. Yes, Zubin, you wanted to say something to the students and about what they're going through?
Well, number one, just take a deep breath and prepare for the unexpected. It's, I think, a good strategy to hit your books, be ready for any eventuality, because it may well come to that, whether as optional or whether an en masse for everyone. Just a point here on, whether re-NEET, partial NEET, it's not just important that whatever solution is decided on be fair and equitable, but also appear to be fair and equitable. And in that case, while I absolutely agree with, Maheshwar Perry's observations that, a data analysis of, where, what, how it's happened, but that's going to take a hell of a lot of time. In the last 4 years, students across have been impacted terribly through COVID, through lockdowns, from studying from home. We cannot afford to have, this batch of medical MBBS entrances, getting kicked down the road for 4 months, 6 months. It's just not the way to go about it. It's a waste of resources. So therefore, keeping that in mind, I think doing a re-NEET across the board for all is the correct solution. It may not be the happiest solution for everyone. And of course, students would hate to re-prepare and give the exam, but you'd rather do it again and do it properly.
But Zubin, what is the assurance that the re-NEET would be without any integrity issues? What is the assurance of that?
There is no assurance, but hopefully with this spotlight and glare, it's just like a re-election that happens. With that spotlight and glare, and far more oversight, we try and not have this situation repeat. Okay. And that's just for this year, and then making it far more foolproof, for which, whether going online, whether conducting it 5 times a year, why this pressure of just one exam, one day, once a year?
Yeah. Absolutely. The structural changes are undeniable, and we'll get to that. Shwetan, July 8th is the next hearing in this entire case. And, I think what Shiv Khera said is something that, most people will resonate with. The fact that something like this, I'm not going to sit here and lecture the courts. I can't do that. I cannot be held in contempt. I'm not going to advise the justices as well. They have their own rhythm, etc. But this is an urgent issue. This is an entrance. This is a competitive exam for our, for our next generation of doctors. Surely this should be happening on a slightly more urgent basis.
Yes, Shiv, it is. But let me tell you one thing, being a practicing lawyer, there is a practice that other side, every party has a right of representation.
True.
The matter was taken up on 13th. 2 weeks' time has been granted to NTA to file their reply. So we are waiting for their reply. After their reply, only the things will be clear, which way they are going, what they are going to do. So that is why. And this special bench has taken up the matters during vacations because it's a vacation time.
Yes.
But the special bench has taken up the matter because 24 lakh students are involved in this. So that was the only reason. On daily basis, the Honorable Supreme Court is hearing the matter. On every day, there is one petition or the other. Today, there was a petition pertaining to grace marks. Again, some students, they approached the Honorable Supreme Court, saying that so we were missed out from that list of students who approached the court. So all these things are coming up on daily basis, and court is also taking note of it. Day before yesterday, only the Honorable Supreme Court has said if there is 0.0001% fault, then we'll take care of that.
Okay,
So
that's what you said.
Strict with this thing, and they are saying that wait on the 8th matter will be taken up. And if exam goes, then everything will go. And again, we have made a prayer that it has to be under observation of the Honorable Supreme Court.
Right.
Whatever has to be conducted, it has to be conducted under observation of the Honorable Supreme Court. This is what our prayer is.
Okay. Mr. Perry, I saw you raise your hand. Yes, you wanted to add to that?
The thing is, Shiv,
Yes.
if you look at JEE, you actually have Jan and April sessions, and then both sessions, the student gets best of the lot, right?
Yes.
And both are normalized. So if you have 720 here as the highest score and you have 710 as the highest score there, the 710 is 100 percentile there and the 720 is 100 percentile here, just to put things in perspective. So one of the options that you have is, and by the way, students don't prefer both the examinations. They take one and they're happy. If they're not happy, they take the second one also. In this particular case, one of the ways of dealing with this whole thing is to actually go the JEE route of saying there is another examination where any student who feels frustrated can, or has a problem with the earlier score, can take the examination.
Yes.
Both are normalized and ranking is created based on normalization between both the teams, both the batches. And that happens in JEE every single year.
Yes.
And that's a possibility here also.
And that's, which is very strange, for someone like you, Mr. Perry, who's been looking at this for so long. That seems like the obvious thing to do. Why hasn't something like that been done already? What is the pushback against that JEE-like structure in the NTA for the NEET? What is the pushback? Really, tell us that. Let us in on that.
The problem with medical education, Shiv, is it is not under Ministry of Education. It is under the Ministry of Health Affairs, right? Because it's territorial war. And National Medical Commission comes in. It's a massive, you change it as from IMA to NMC and whatever it is. So as long as NMC is there, and I'm saying this pretty openly, as long as NMC is there, trust me that there'll be a stronghold, a strange hold on the way that the medical seats are given, the number of doctors that come out, the licenses that are given out, the number of medical seats that are given to a college, and everything that follows that, because it's a different exercise. And that is where, Shiva, let me give you one simple data point. The number of students who go abroad to study MBBS is equivalent to the number of students who study in India.
My God. It's just, I can't believe this actually boils down in some ways to a turf war. This is I can't decide whether this is terrifying or dispiriting, but hopefully it will be sorted out. Shiv Khera, there is no doubt that this is a pivotal moment. This feels like a pivotal moment, where change can hopefully be affected. All of those things that you were expressing anger about, you think that something will change now? It's a new government. There's attendant pressure on them. It's the first big controversy of the new government, and maybe that means that some action beyond just the obvious will be taken. Do you think that will happen, Mr. Khera?
Well, Shiv, when they had a complete majority, today they are a coalition. When they had complete majority, there were so many things that they did and could have done and should have done, which were really not done. So that is one. And now being a coalition, the important thing is, would they want to do it? Is the political will missing? Now, I just want to add a couple of things here. It is not only the emotional turmoil for 24 lakh students, but the parents also.
Correct.
And if you look at the family, it is a massive turmoil for the whole family out there. And the Arthur Anderson case in the US, they did a daily hearing in US, daily hearing. So when they say give a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no, this matter like this should be done a daily hearing, number one. And number two is, I have a big question here. When you murder somebody, you take a death sentence or a life sentence. You murdered 22.5 million students' career, you should be given the same punishment. Look at this. You are literally murdering 2.5 million's career. And you do such things like this, you have no right to get away.
No,
and
I think
there is a connivance between the bureaucracy and the political system and the whole thing. And on purpose, they keep the system messed up. You know why? It protects the criminals and penalizes honest people. I repeat, a chaotic system always protects the criminal and penalizes the honest people.
Now,
That's why it is to their advantage to do it.
I will say this, while we've been talking about specifics and technicals of the structure and NEET, etc., I don't think anyone can diminish the anger of someone like a Shiv Khera, because there are emotions involved here that cannot be simply ignored. Emotions also have their place, but right now the question is, will a decision be taken that is going to be in the interests of lakhs of students who've taken this exam? I have only a few minutes left, so I'm going to give it to the students.
No matter what decision you take, it will not be a happy decision for everybody. There will be enough people who will be unhappy. That's all I can say. I have nothing to add on it.
All right. 20 seconds to each of my students. Nandini, to you first. If you could say one thing to the government and the education minister right now, what would it be? 20 seconds, Nandini.
The only thing that I would like to say to the government is that they need to hurry up fast. They need to come up with a plausible solution that may not satisfy everyone, but one that is very much able to rectify the mistakes that have been committed by the NTA. Second, I would like the government to dissolve the NTA completely, because obviously they can't conduct papers every year. This happens, but this time it was on a massive level. So a new committee should definitely be formed. And just like Sir said, I too believe that NEET should be conducted like JEE, so that each and every person is given an equal chance and the examination is conducted very fairly. And thirdly, I believe the paper should be a bit difficult, and AIIMS should be the one making the paper, just like in IIT JEE. IIT makes the IIT advanced paper.
Shan, 20 seconds to you. What would you say to the government? 20 seconds, quickly.
I would like to say, sir, you just can't play with the 24 lakhs of students' career, because if you are conducting re-NEET, then you just can't do this, because some of the students can't do it again, because the students were very on very high level, and now they are not on that. They just can't prepare again for the exam, and they are not prepared too.
Arushi, my apologies to you, but we're completely out of time. But we've taken your point, and to all of my guests for joining us on this very, very candid discussion on what needs to be happening next. Is it going to be a re-NEET? Is it going to be a partial re-NEET? The larger structural changes as far as our exams are concerned. The one thing we can agree on, this is a real mess. Thank you all for joining me on this discussion. Very quick break here on the show. Coming up next is 6 p.m. Prime with Akshita. 38 people have died in the latest hooch tragedy in Tamil Nadu's Kalakurchi. Pramod Madhav is on the ground to get you an absolutely shattering, up-close view of this latest tragedy.
के 9,000 से भी ज्यादा प्लम्बिंग एंड ड्रेनेज प्रोडक्ट्स और वाटर टैंक्स बने हैं क्वालिटी रॉ मटेरियल्स एंड इनोवेटिव डिजाइन से। सुप्रीम टोटल पाइपिंग सॉल्यूशन, जीवन भर का साथ।
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking to improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training provided at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia, with a view of producing top-notch media professionals.
weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 45 and minimum 30 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 39 and minimum 28 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 29 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 34 and minimum 26 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees.